Hello everyone, hope all of you are having a great day. Welcome to yet another Leader Talk by NASSCOM. I'm Diksha Nerurkar, Research Practice Lead, and today I have the pleasure of talking to Mr. Nirav Sampat, Chief Technology Officer Operations at Accenture. Welcome Nirav, great to have you with us.
Diksha, thank you very much and looking forward to this session. Absolutely delighted to be on this platform.
Diving into the session and the question, Nirav, can you sort of, for the sake of the audience, give a brief introduction about yourself? And what exactly is Chief Technology Officer in Operations mean?
So, thank you. So my role is the Group Chief Technology Officer for Accenture's operations business, which provides business process services to our clients. And as part of my role, I'm responsible for the technology strategy for Accenture's BPO business in terms of bringing the best of technology for all the clients that we serve from Accenture.
Thanks, Nirav. Today, my discussion with Nirav is focused on intelligent automation, the art of bringing high performance to information-based work. This not only means improved cost efficiencies, but also involves elevating customer experience and also boosting top-line growth. While many organizations have already embarked on their cloud journey pre-pandemic, the last 2 years have been the biggest catalyst for the growth of cloud both in India and globally. What we have witnessed is a compression of the cloud journey and a new understanding that cloud at scale is essential for operations maturity. Cloud computing, when used judiciously, can deliver huge business value and also be harnessed as a platform for innovation. In that context, Nirav, my first question to you is, intelligent automation is fast becoming the go-to solution for enterprises looking to optimize processes and maximize their productivity. Can you give us some of the overall insights or trends that you're seeing in this space? And also, what exactly does it mean as intelligent automation? What does it actually mean?
Sure. So let's start with the trends, right? So we all know pandemic has been a big event and it's changed the future and the perspective of many across industries across the world, right? One thing that we are seeing which is very, very common is coming out of the pandemic, there's a significant recognition that, all industries or most companies required a very focused approach on what we call as compressed transformation that will allow them to be ready for future, really transform the way they work with the power of data, AI, and technology. And we kind of call it total enterprise reinvention. And I think intelligent automations we see as one of the tools and approaches, right, powered by cloud, and will be key to help drive this transformation for our clients. Now, it's interesting because the definition of intelligent automation may vary, right, depending on whom you speak to. But the way we look at it is like this: how do we bring the power of data, AI, and technology together, right? And starting with that, I would say it brings various tools, a bouquet of tools to be able to do that. And that would, have everything from RPA, whom a lot of people are familiar with, right? Enterprise workflows, emerging technologies such as low code, no code, digitization technologies, right, from OCR to AI-enabled extraction services for documents, images, video, and so on and so forth. Some more real-time services around understanding voice, conversations, and sentiments, and so on and so forth. And then also leading analytics-based, services that allow us to really understand data, drive the right insights, and drive the transformation for the clients. The key thing here was automation or intelligent automation in past was always seen as a tool for productivity. I think there is a great realization that it's not just productivity, but it helps power business outcomes. And those business outcomes can really be transform experiences of your clients, your vendors, your suppliers, your employees. It could be grow your revenue. It could be reduce your cost. It could be change your cycle times, and therefore significantly impact the model in which the business is running and help, get to your desired target business model. So this is really how I believe that, intelligent automation, which is a collection of all these tools and assets, is going to help drive transformation. Talking about cloud, I see cloud as a big enabler. And with the power of cloud, there are, extreme benefits about we can start early, start small, start fast, right? You can liberate things like data and others that were stuck in, different pools. And now you can actually, migrate that to cloud, unleash the power of intelligence by making it available for analytics and other insights. So I think the way I look at it is, right, the cloud has actually been one of the biggest enablers of speed of transformation coming out of the pandemic.
That's great, Nirav, great explanation of the entire intelligent automation concept. Uh, Based on what you said, it seems like data is at the heart of intelligent automation, and without that, there's no automation to a large extent. And we've seen leaders who are beginning to prioritize data as a source of value and also as an essential fuel for innovation, right? Something that will help them make and optimize business decisions. So, how do you make data priority for executing intelligent automation? And this is especially from the perspective of SMBs. We know large and medium enterprises are more or less mature in terms of their approach to technology and data, but specifically also from an SMB perspective, can you share some of your insights, Nirav?
Sure. And I would absolutely agree that data is a fuel. But as you understand, a fuel needs to be refined before it can be used, right? So whether you use a fuel as a petrol or a diesel or an aircraft fuel depends on the degree of refinement that you have to put it through before you can actually extract the right value for it, right? And I think same is true about data. So a few things, I think we need to understand a few things that are happening around data. So number one, if you want to drive transformation, it's going to be about insights driven operations, right? Because if you just follow what rules were supposed to do, you'll only get to a particular level. And then if you are trying to optimize every outcome, it needs to be powered through insights, and that is going to come from the data. B, the use of platforms across the patch has now resulted in a significant increase in the availability of data, the variety of the data, as well as the volume of the data, right? So many times it's a problem of plenty, which is I've got too much data, but I don't really know what to do with it, right? So I think one of the things that we need to really look at it and say, okay, now I've got a data, is it usable? Number one. B, what do I really want to do with it? Do I understand the priority? How will the insight, what insights do I need? And how do they relate to the KPIs of the business outcomes that I want to drive? And then what kind of tools and technologies or solutions do I really implement to be able to actually execute that particular, intelligence plan based on the data, right? So a few things that I, look at it is, so number one is, you need to align data to and the insights to the business outcomes that you're driving. So if whatever is your business model, whatever is the disruption that you want to drive in your industry or in your business, I think a lot of the work that you are doing in terms of prioritization and focus needs to be aligned to that. Right. Second is nothing is ever perfect. So you need to start small. You need to take it in steps, and then you need to continue to drive it at speed, right? Making it better every single step. And by doing that, you will continue to, realize value in sprints and, be able to scale fast, right? Interesting that you talked about small and business enterprises. And that's really where the power of cloud comes in, right? Because actually, a lot of times you will see that, small and medium business enterprises are probably the bigger users of cloud than large enterprises. And if you actually go to the history of a lot of, companies which are now startups and have now grown big, right? They all started small. They basically kind of started their businesses on a pure cloud-based platforms, and therefore actually had their business models, really based on data and insights. So, when you use the word born in a cloud, I think that's really what happened. And I think a lot of times small and medium enterprises can absolutely take advantage of that. Start small, start quick, and then grow. I think with technologies like low code, no code, and other tools available, right? Even intelligent automation, analytics is really becoming what I call as a citizen automation activity. And therefore, you don't necessarily need large IT teams to be able to do it, correct? Of course, when you're really looking at an expert workforce that you would see in large enterprises, they're creating significant value in terms of driving large points of transformation. But you can always start small with, a focus on citizen automation and grow as we kind of, increase the focus on data as well as intelligent automation.
Basically, you're saying intelligent automation is applicable irrespective of the size of the company, large, medium, small.
I completely agree. It's here to drive your business. It's here to drive transformation in your business, irrespective of your size.
You touched upon actually the point that I was going to ask in the next question, which is digital talent, right? You need a digital workforce for intelligent automation, and building that workforce with the right combination of skills also becomes very critical. So from your perspective, can you give us some insights into what are some of the skills that are needed specifically in today's scenario, especially where we're talking about, a hybrid workforce and a hybrid business model as well? What are some of the key skills that you are seeing evolve in this space?
Absolutely. So, so again, taking a step back, right? If you really look at intelligent automation, it's all about four things. It's about human, machine, data, and insights, right? Earlier, the work was all being done by human, right? And then, you'd say, okay, we are doing measurable, repeatable, transactional, predictable, what we call as MRPT tasks, right? So the way automation has evolved is anything that is MRPT is likely to be automated. So, okay. And essentially the humans will be looking at what's the fallout, what's the exception, and therefore is doing more complex work, right? B, humans need to take decisions as part of any kind of process or any kind of operations. And in order to take decisions, they need the right insights. So the way I see it is, right, today it's all about human and machine working in harmony. But a machine could be a robot which is automating MRPT tasks, or a machine can be some kind of an AI tool or an analytics tool, which is providing predictive insights to the human so that they can take the right decision. And the work is kind of orchestrated within the human and machine in a way, so it feels very seamless. Okay. So for example, right, if you're going to buy something and there is a score which says so many people have liked it, right? 81% people actually love this particular dish order from this restaurant. You're probably going to have a good propensity to buy it because it's giving you meaningful information to be able to take your decision. And that's the principle you can apply in each and every element of your work, right? Now, in order to do that, what we are seeing is, right, there's also a transformation of what we call as the entire talent mix, correct? The talent that is focusing on transactional work is actually reducing. And there's actually a rise of what we call as expert talent. And it's the expert talent that is helping create the digital workforce, right? Which is, the talents that's helping build the robots, the talents that's helping run the robots, the data scientists and AI specialists which are creating these insights and intelligence, which is actually, getting to humans to take better decisions. So people are focusing more on their subject, more on their domain, more on their expertise, so that they are bringing the expertise versus, going through hundreds and thousands of pages and trying to understand, because automation is trying to do that for them, right? So I would say that it really means is that you actually have to focus on, number one, creating the right expert workforce to drive the proliferation of the digital tools and digital workforce, number one. Number two, you need to provide the right focus, the right talent, and the right guidance for people to upgrade their skills, right? Because as part of their daily job, they are going to handle more complex, more fallouts, because simpler things are going to be done by the, robots and the digital workforce. And how do we do that? Through the right training interventions, the right self-study interventions, or whatever be the case. I think it's going to be extremely crucial to make sure that the talent is ready for the future, world of intelligent automation. So I think it's the humans with the right skills, right flexibility, right learning path, right, are people who are going to succeed as we kind of go forward in this area.
Based on what you're saying, I wanted to understand your view on, normally there is always a debate between hiring generalists versus specialists. And if you're saying that a lot of the automation is going to take over standard repetitive tasks, right? Are we looking at sometime in the future a core group of specialists? Is that going to be the trend, or?
There was always a need for specialists, right? I think what automation has done that is to focus these specialists on actually using their specialized knowledge better than what they were doing earlier. Let me give you an example, right? If I take an example of, let's say, reading through 1,000-page contract and then trying to determine whether there are certain clauses in the contract. Can I do a few things or can I not do a few things, which is something you may require if you are maybe a lawyer or you're somebody who needs to take a decision. Or let's say for medical companies, they do drug testing, and they get all these medical reports to say what's the effect of this on various patients. Is the drug working or not working? That they have to again go through thousands of pages, and these are qualified nurses and doctors who do that. Now, with intelligent automation, they don't have to spend hours reading hundreds of pages, but look at the summary that the intelligent automation-based solutions are producing, look at the key points, and then apply their knowledge to make the decision. So they are using the power of their expertise at the right place and driving higher impact. And if you can ask them, and they'll basically be saying, it's helping me concentrate on what I am trained to do best and what I can impact the society or impact my client with, than just, spending time on what I call as more administrative or preparatory or MRPT work.
Okay, thanks, Nirav. That was very useful. One of the things when we implement any system is to track its performance and the success, right? So from a ROI perspective or from a business value perspective, right? What are your suggestions in terms of tracking metrics to decide on the success of, let's say any intelligent automation project?
I think there are different perspectives, right? And there are companies or, a few years back, people would just try intelligent automation as how many robots do I have, correct? And that used to be a tracking point. But the way we look at it now is more mature, right? And is increasingly being mature. As I said, at the end of the day, the outcome of the, objective of the intelligent automation is to drive business outcomes, right? So from an Accenture perspective, one of the things that we have done, right, is to really come up with what we call as a 360 value framework, where we are not only focusing on the business outcomes like financial outcomes, because that's something everybody would want to do, but we are also taken a fairly broad view, by looking at things like focus on, talent, focus on customer satisfaction, focus on sustainability, focus on inclusion, diversity, because when you're really looking at any compressed transformation, right, technology and intelligent automation as a technology is a piece of it. Bringing the right talent, the right culture, the right client focus, keeping it in a sustainable way running, and continuing to drive increased value, right, is completely important. So I think I would encourage that companies and organizations take a full 360 view of the outcomes that they are enabling and have a right measurement framework to put that in.
Hello. One of the important things that organizations do when they implement any project is to track the success of it, right? So from an intelligent automation perspective, what are some of the matrices that companies should track in order to gauge whether that implementation has been a success or not, and what are the areas of improvement that are required?
Absolutely. So it's absolutely important to track the outcomes delivered by any transformation program, right? and what gets measured and monitored gets done. So, absolutely you need to track what you want to achieve, right? And I think that tracking has evolved over time. And you'll always come across some people who say, okay, my tracking is the number of robots who are live, right? Versus what is it that they have actually achieved by doing that. And what Accenture has tried to do is to take a holistic 360 approach to value tracking. And traditionally people would track the financial value, which is absolutely important, but we have added dimensions around talent, around customer satisfaction, around inclusion and diversity, around sustainability, because any transformation programs needs to deliver sustainable outcomes. Bring in all the thinking that you can get both internally and externally through the right inclusion and diversity, right? Drive the right culture that drives to the final business outcomes that we are looking for. And we have found that framework to be extremely useful working with our clients to track outcomes. But absolutely, the tracking is necessary and key to drive the success of the intelligent automation program.
And what are some of the challenges? Every project when you're implementing you have to overcome some roadblocks, right? So in your experience, based on what you've seen with customers across different verticals, what are some of the top challenges that you have seen or some of the common roadblocks that companies have had to overcome? And related to that, the question I have is, how future ready are we in terms of really adopting top level intelligent automation, given, like I said, the technology maturity of organization differs if you go from the large to the medium to the small?
Yeah, so I think the way I look at it is, right, see, intelligent automation, if you're really doing it for the first time, you need to look at it as, hey, it's a program, I need to put it in place, right? And like any other program, you need the right sponsorship. Now, as I said today, compressed transformation is the need of the hour. And typically a compressed transformation will typically have a top C-level sponsorship to go along with it, right? So then the question is, do we have the right program? Do we have the right talent? Do we have the right tools? Do we have the right business participation and uptake, right? And then do we have the right measurement mechanisms? Do we have the right change management? So all of these are key when you are driving a complex program, right? Or a large program like intelligent automation, right? So for large organizations which take intelligent automation with a programmatic approach, right? What we see here is it's best run with the right business sponsorship, okay? And we call it as it's business owned or business sponsored, IT covered, right? Where the job of IT is to provide the right tech tools, technologies, guidance around security, do's and don'ts, and enable the business to flexibly drive intelligent automation at the right speed, scale, right? And focus on the right business priorities that they are looking at. So I think that is the model that we have seen works well, right? And there are many things that we need in order to get it right, right? So number one is, do we have the right culture, right? And that's where the right campaign, recognizing the early achievers, right? Making sure people understand that this is a C-level priority, right? Taking some successful use cases and, really showcasing the potential of the benefit people can, assume. Rewarding people who actually automate their own roles, right, was one of the things that we found was very successful, because people were really looking and say, okay, I've done this many years. Now I can automate this, and therefore I can go and do something else. So I think having the right focus, the right culture, the right sponsorship, all of those are going to be key, right, in terms of achieving the right outcomes that you're looking for. And that's really the way to success.
And the final question, Nirav, is again from your experience, from again different customers, different verticals. What are some of the best practices that organizations need to implement beyond culture and top management buy-in, etc.? Anything while implementing? What is it that they should keep in mind?
So there is always some fundamentals, right, of driving the intelligent operations, right? So it could be very simple, right? Do I understand the process? Number two, have I looked at process from a perspective of simplification, standardization, elimination of waste, all of those kind of stuff, right? Because if you take process that is a lot of redundant steps, that is what is called as waste. Basically, you'll make it go faster than what it was traveling earlier, right? So it's about taking the right end-to-end view of the processes, making them suitable for the to-be state, and then applying intelligent automation techniques to automate it. So do it the right way. B, recognize the power of data, right? Do I have the data? At what steps in the process can I really use the data to bring insights that I did not have, correct? And how will those insights help drive the outcomes that I'm going to, focus on? So use the data lever, correct? And then third one is the talent, correct? And how do we get all the right talent? The talent that needs to create these automations, like the expert talent, the talent that needs to adopt this automation, which is the everyday user, who then also needs to say that this is not a threat. This is my coworker. This person is going to help me, or this automation is going to help me do my job better, right? And relieve me of all the, repeatable work that I am doing, and do that as a very, culture, focused, messaging is, I think, all key in trying to drive the success of the programs.
Thanks, Nirav. So just to summarize our conversation, we're talking about, for any success of any intelligent automation, data is at the heart of it, and refined data is even better. So make sure that data access and data cleanliness is maintained. Leverage platforms, tools, and techniques that are available to ease the, not just the implementation also, but to improve your productivity, and not only of the processes, but also of the people. Am I right? And make sure you have a framework and track matrices to judge where you need to improve. And and most importantly, what stood out for me is that this is not a one-time journey, but it is a journey of continuous improvement. So
absolutely. And finally, it's all about business outcomes. So focus on the outcomes that you want to achieve.
Yes, so the outcomes will drive the automation, not the other way around. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely. Excellent.
Thank you so much, Nirav. Thank you for your time. Great conversations, and I hope to keep in touch with you.
Absolutely. And delighted to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.